ready to blast off? We're going on Alien Saucer Swirl. I'm going to share with you everything you need to know to ride comfortably as a plus-size person. Welcome to Pammie Plus Parks. I'm Pammie, your plus-size fairy godmother, bringing you all the magic Disney and Florida has to offer plus-size people. Let's get ready to fly away in outer space on Alien Saucer Swirl, and I'll show you everything that you need to know to ride comfortably as a plus-size person. Let's ride. Well, check it out. Carly Joe's trying to let me know. Stand by. 75 minutes, that's crazy. Children under 7 must ride with another rider 14 years old or older, and you must be 32 inches or taller to ride. There's also 2 cars for people transferring from a mobility device. You have to be able to transfer from your ECV, wheelchair, or other mobility device in order to ride this ride. If you'd like to have a seatbelt extender for Alien Saucer Swirl, just before they corral you for the ride, there's a checkpoint. And at that checkpoint, let your cast member know that you would like a seatbelt extender. They'll get one for you right away and set you up. Take a super close look at that planet. It's a pizza planet. There's literally green onions, pepperoni, and mushrooms on the planet. Oh, look at that. This glass panel is actually a slice of pizza. Do you see the pepperoni and the mushrooms and the onions? Looks like someone's keeping a close eye on the queue. Right, it's a green army man. One thing you need to keep in mind for this ride is that the majority of the standby queue is outdoors. Right now we have a 90-minute wait, and you can see there's just hundreds, if not maybe 1,000 people standing out exposed in the heat. There are a few umbrellas, and they even have cooling stations like this where you can get a quick drink of water. Was a super fun ride. I found the car pretty easy to get into. There's a small step up to get in and a very long bench. I felt like you could have fit 3 of me in there, but for the most part they had 2 people at a time on there. There is a clip belt. It is extendable. I had several inches left on my belt. I could have easily fit another grown adult next to me with no problems. If you're worried about sliding around and crashing into the other rider in the car, it's gonna happen. However, there is a grab bar directly in front of you that you can stabilize yourself with. Hey guys, I was getting ready to put the final touches on the edit for this video, and I realized there are a few more things I could tell you to clarify the information I've given you so far, and maybe even give you a couple of extra bonus tips that will make riding this ride even easier. Let's dig in a little bit deeper. Let's start out by talking about the queue itself. The entire line is completely mobility device friendly. Whether you're in an ECV, a wheelchair, a scooter of any type, you can take it through the entire queue. I also want to mention again that the entire queue is outdoors. There are parts of the queue that have covering overhead and some fans, but technically it's still all outdoors. So whatever weather is going on, whether it's rain, heat, or cold, you're going to experience it. Because the ride itself is undercover, it's very unlikely that the ride will be shut down due to inclement weather unless that weather is pretty severe. I can give you a few more details about how you ask for your seatbelt extender. Basically, you go through the entire queue and you get to a point where you reach a cast member at a podium. That cast member will ask you how many people are in your party. Let them know at that time that you'd like a seatbelt extender. I believe they keep the seatbelt extenders in the podium. Here's something else to remember: if you're using that seatbelt extender, make sure to unclip it when you finish the ride and hand it off to a cast member so they can return it to the podium for the next guest that asks for it. And finally, let's talk about the ride itself in a little more detail. The closest I can compare this ride to is probably the teacups at Magic Kingdom. You may have noticed from the footage that I showed you of the ride when I was standing outside of the ride that it kind of looks like it's a little bit slow and sort of gentle, but looks can be deceiving. Although this ride isn't super fast and doesn't spin you around like crazy like the teacups does, when you're actually in the ride and riding it, as you can see from the footage that I took while I was on the ride, it feels a lot faster when you're inside the ride. And if you ride solo like I did, and I chose not to hang on to that safety bar, I slid back and forth on the seat, which I loved. You might not like that, but I loved it. It was super fun. I definitely consider this a kid-friendly ride, and your children will love it, and it's a ride the entire family will enjoy. However, if you do have some neck problems or back problems, this might not be the ride for you. It can be a little bit bumpy and it does whip you around a little bit. But if you're in pretty good physical condition, you're gonna love this. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Well, that wraps up the last of the key details I wanted to go over with you. And I know that if you try this ride, you're definitely going to enjoy the ride.